We know GMC as a truck and SUV brand only, but did you know that for a limited time in the 90s in South America they made a constipated Ford Tempo called the GMC Chevette? There it is in all of its glory, and you could rock it in the 90s in South America. But what if GMC made a sedan today? It's a far-fetched idea, but let's talk about it. Crush that subscribe button for weekly ramblings like this, and follow us on Twitter at Automoblog for your daily dose of automotive medicine. To really go down this rabbit hole of GMC making a sedan, we have to admittedly ignore some very apparent reasons as to why GMC doesn't make cars to begin with, including their overall history as a truck maker, and that it's probably cost prohibitive on the manufacturing side, seeing since their entire production footprint is set up for trucks and SUVs. But we're just riffing here, we're rambling, we're shooting the breeze. Say it were possible and GMC could make the numbers work internally, why might they build a sedan? One reason they might do it is to just simply throw a curveball. See, nobody expects GMC to make a car, not when so much focus the last couple of years has been on something like the Hummer EV, so maybe this elusive sedan isn't something that they're going to bring to market, and it's probably not something you're going to see at your local Buick GMC dealership. Instead, it's a concept or a design experiment that they roll out at big auto shows all across the country, like Detroit, Chicago, New York, and LA. This would get everybody talking, for better or for worse. Now, the press would be reporting on this crazy, unique, wild, out of left field GMC sedan concept, and people would be posting about it all over social media. Is MySpace still around? MySpace is still around. MySpace still around? Okay, I'd post on MySpace. Auto show attendees would be drawn to the GMC display to see this car. Whether it's a work of art or a complete monstrosity, it probably doesn't matter at this point. People will want to see it in person. The sedan would attract visitors to GMC's auto show display, but ultimately, they're probably not going to buy the sedan, but they end up looking at something a little more reasonable, like a Terrain or an Acadia. In this scenario, all GMC needs to do is to create buzz around the brand, and the headlines will practically write themselves. Now, if Chrysler could do the Voyager 3 concept, which is a Dymaxion house on wheels, Ford could do the Sinus, which looks like a safety deposit box on steroids, and Kia could do whatever this thing is, then it's not beyond the realm of possibility that GMC could make a concept sedan. So let's say that GMC can make the numbers work internally, they can fit it into their manufacturing footprint, and the auto show tour was a big success, and they decide that they're going to build this thing. Well, here's why it might be a good idea for them to do so. Although trucks and SUVs are the overall preferred choice for consumers, which GMC already knows, sedans, though, still have their fans, especially millennials and younger car buyers. Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Nissan, VW, Kia, Mazda, they all have affordable and stylish sedans in their lineup. And in the case of Toyota, there's Lexus. With Honda, there's Acura, Nissan, Infiniti. And those are all premium nameplates, which is exactly what GMC is. Perhaps our hypothetical GMC sedan competes with the Lexus LS or the Acura TLX, or if it's a little bit smaller, maybe the Lexus IS or the Acura ILX. Here's how GMC might be able to justify this. If the IS and the ILX are meant to be entry-level vehicles, and they're meant to introduce new buyers to their respective brands, Lexus and Acura in this case, then it's likely that those manufacturers have every intention of retaining those buyers year after year. It's possible to imagine that a Lexus IS driver will eventually step up to something larger, like an RX or a GX, and the ILX buyer the same way. They one day graduate up to something like the Acura MDX. The same logic could apply to our GMC car. So say a younger buyer is interested in GMC, but they can't quite afford an SUV yet. But they see this hypothetical sedan. It's a little higher caliber than everything else on the market because GMC is a premium automaker. So it has a few more features. It's a little more stylish, a little more comfortable, but it's still affordable. So this younger buyer gets into this sedan, and as they go through life, it's possible that they one day could trade up to something like a Yukon or a Sierra, and those are big money makers for GMC. Currently, Buick does not offer a sedan in the North American market. I actually had to double check this because I couldn't believe it. Yeah, the Regal is no more. SUVs and crossovers, Buick has them, but not a sedan in North America. So there is less of a risk that our hypothetical GMC sedan ends up becoming a rebadged Buick. And while Cadillac has the CT4 and CT5, GMC's styling is quite different from Cadillac, so it's unlikely that we would confuse our GMC car with a Cadillac. As for what the GMC sedan might look like, I try to picture the styling of like the Canyon or the Terrain, and then I imagine what that might look like on a body that's roughly the size and length of a Malibu or an Impala. As far as stuffing something under the hood, the world is pretty much our oyster. Depending on the size of our hypothetical GMC sedan, a turbocharged four-banger could provide a nice balance of power and efficiency. However, if our GMC sedan had a higher trim level, like a Denali version, we could opt for a larger V6, either naturally aspirated or turbocharged, but regardless, something that provides a little more horsepower for that higher trim level. It's also very well possible that this GMC sedan that we've been talking about is an EV, and that's probably more likely if this GMC sedan ever did come to light. In the end, the idea of a GMC sedan is wishful thinking. I know that. But it's fun to talk about, and it's kind of cool to imagine. What do you think? If GMC surprised us with a sedan, would you consider driving it? And what would be a good name for it? And would you use the Denali trim level? Let us know in the comments. We look forward to reading them, and we'll see you in the next video. In Detroit, on behalf of Automoblog, hoping for a GMC sedan, I'm Carl Anthony. If GMC had a sedan, that would have been cool, like on MySpace. What if the GMC sedan, I'm gonna go to marketing for GMC. What if the GMC sedan had a MySpace page? This is for YouTube, right? I don't know if you can use any of that. I'm delirious, I've been at work all day. All right, talk to you soon.